will be a casual panel. We'll dig in deep about the workflows, and then we'll define it digitally. But first of all, I need to start about defining the workflows itself before being digital. So for everyone who knows me well, you know that I'm a big foodie. So I'll start with McDonald's in 1950. If you remember, McDonald's was founded by two brothers, and an investor called Ray Kroc. He went to their places and he found amazing burger, and in which they are serving in a very quick way, very fast way. And then he was curious about what they are doing and how can they do so. He invited the two brothers in a tennis court in a 1-to-1 scale, and started to do, he redefined the workflow of producing the most famous cheeseburger for McDonald's. So he defined the workflow step by step with all the elements and all the equipments and where this will be placed and everything. So the time of the cheeseburger come down from 5 minutes to 1 minute right now. And you can see we have more than 37,000 McDonald's branches all over the world. So imagine without having this or redefining this workflow, what should have been happening with McDonald's right now. And they are entering the real estate, the construction industry with aggressive approach right now in everywhere. So I just wanted to, let's say, mimic this one and symbolize it by McDonald's. Everyone knows McDonald's, of course. And today we will take it from a different perspective, from a digital perspective. And we have here amazing panelists in which we will start to discuss about the redefining the digital workflows and leveraging it in our construction industry, real estate industry, and also prop tech. I'll start always with my dear colleague, Amr, since he already shifted from let's say a real estate developer to a real estate management and facility management. So I need to understand more, Amr, what is, let's say, the differences between what have you been doing in ROSHN and right now in Usul?
Thanks, Ahmed. Actually, I've been jumping across more silos. So I was a contractor with Salini and Bergiro, or we built the guys who built Al Bayt Stadium in Qatar. And then as a consultant with ACOM, and then real estate development. And so I have been through the different silos. And looking into the workflows, I think the industry has a wealth of knowledge and expertise, but it is underutilized, I would say. It is surrounded by lots of noise, with low value activities and lots of, I would say, a combination between urgency and fake urgency. So when you think about workflows, you need to think about the workflows that makes meaningful results and try to eliminate the waste across the different businesses. So everyone, like every developer, or aims to get a return on investment. So during the operation phase, he looks for an asset that operates efficiently, has less downtimes, and it is sustainable and durable. And this is something that often missed in the early stages of the project. So there is a rush during the design, there is a rush during construction, and then everything is handed over to the end user to live with it, basically, and live with it for a long time. And this is where rethinking the whole workflow and integrating it is important.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Amr. It's very insightful that we need to consider the digital workflows from the first day in our projects, maybe in the initiation phase. So going back to Juan, I know that you are wearing two hats right now in Cayo. One in which you are advising the clients and, let's say, giving them some solutions using DAS, of course. And the other hat is you are implementing whatever the client needs from you, right? So where do you find the difficulties in both hats?
Well, thank you, Ahmed. It's great to be here again. And of course, there are differences between advising externally to mainly real estate owners and developers, and to define and to support internally the business to become more efficient, and looking more at operational achievements and KPIs that we need to, at the end, meet the deliverables set by the different companies that we work for. So internally, we have a team of different leaders, what we call our digital thread. So within this group, we define the overall strategies that we have in the business, and then that goes down within the teams deeper into details of the specific requirements that they need to meet at project level. So we go from a holistic level of what is the needs from the different divisions that we have at KU, and then it goes down deep into the details by each of these digital thread leaders. Then when it comes to external support and projects that we have with clients, we are looking more into three types of pillars, from strategic advisory to implementation and to management. So depending on where the needs might be on the clients, we come and understand the business. It's very important to have an understanding of what the business needs are and to align with these objectives, just not to work in isolation and only based on previous experiences, but to suit the client needs. So these are probably the differences between what we do externally and what we do internally within K.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Juan. So in a nutshell, if you are failing to plan, so it's a kind of a planning to fail, especially when it comes to the digital workflows in the early phase. Going back to Yazan, are you facing any challenges, especially you are working in the commercial side of things, in which all of us are suffering from it anyways? So I need to understand what you are facing and the challenges when it comes to the digital workflows. Because before we were working in a traditional environment, but right now all of our workflows are digitally enabled. So what do you think?
Okay. Very good question, but let me capitalize on what you started with. So you have started with McDonald's,
Yes.
which is a very, very, very good example. And I will go to where we started, like Merid, we're an international developer coming to this side of the world, and then things work different here, So I'll just start with, as a developer, what I aim to do is to build something fantastic and to sell it as fast as possible. The first problem in the commercial department that's facing us, how much time it's gonna take us from a lead to a deal. Okay, so all our salespeople, all our marketing people, I say, we good, we know how to do it, we doing it this way. We say, okay guys, can you please just tell us how you do it? And we're gonna put it on papers. They told us how they do it, we put it on papers. First month, from a deal up to, let's say from a lead up to a deal, it take let's say 15 days. Second, we say, what if we do this? What if we do this? What if we reduce that? How we can reduce this? Digitalizing it is not still there. We're just trying to look trial and error in our workflow. Now, today, from a good lead, I mean a lead that will really be a deal, to a deal is maximum 5 to 7 days. Isn't it something that everybody need to look at? What did you do? So we've just looked at the workflow. How does this work? The client will like something on Instagram. The guy will go and check his profile, look what it is, and then from there, they try to attract him to come to the showroom. He gonna come to the showroom. He gonna look at it. He will go back, come back with his wife, and then do these things. With a workflow, things becomes very, very, very much better, because first of all, we filter all these likes based on the knowledge that we have from the AI systems on who are these clients. And then after that, we understand what is the status of these people, So instead of he come 2 times, one alone, one with his wife, we bring him with his wife. Bring him with his wife means 99% we're selling, and then we sell. It's fantastic.
You are not the decision makers here.
Yeah, 100%. So this is one example. Now let's go to the implementation phase. We're as well, we have a contractor on site, we're selling people a dream. We're selling off plan, okay? But what if it is not right? I'm selling him something and it's not right. It's not the product. So we had to put all of these policies, procedures, But policies and procedures are just getting us to more issues. Claims on the tables. I don't know. I did it well. No, you didn't. It was like this. It was like that. So we say, let's create workflows that will reduce the amount of blaming. Let's create a workflow that will catch the problem before it is a problem. It will really show us where we are expected to have a problem and then solve it one by one. So this is how we really implement it. I believe that we're getting better every day. We are a company which is ambitious about the Middle East in general, being in Europe. We are here right now in Dubai, and we are in Abu Dhabi. We are in Saudi Arabia expanding without workflows and digitalization, but good ones, which will really, really work. You can never expand your company and be an international company. So that's how
Thanks a lot, Yazan, for these insights and information. So going to Abdullah, so we are working about your bread and butter right now. When it comes to the workflows and let's say the processes, is a foundational approach and for foundational part of project controls team, right? So what do you think about already Amr mentioned and Wan and Yazan?
Thank you so much for this one. I will start with what I have eaten so far, starting from McDonald's to the selling patch to the digitalization and transformation and the business requirements. So I just would like to start with just step one level up, and then what is the digital workflows? This is something that is I wouldn't say new, but it's something that really need to be defined properly, because how you define it, it makes a big difference on how you are delivering and continuing. So if you think about the digital workflows, it's not only something like using the Outlook, the emails, the PDF. This is something very simple. However, digital workflow is something that transforming your business into a digital workflows. And in a nutshell, that means your digital workflows should be like going in one line that is going from A to Z, which is mainly the engagement from the very early stages of the business, going all the way to design, procurement, construction, all the way to handing over and operation. And this is where you ensure that the data is secure, the information is transferred properly in the business, and all the history and all the data that you have, it's a very rich, it's a very valuable information that the business still needs to capitalize on that one, which will give a huge insights if you really have the full pictures of the business. And also, I would like to, again, just in giving that the digital workflow is something that is recently been engaged in a number of business. What the digital workflow is something that is included in the new operating model. So any new target operating model for organization must be based on the workflows to be digitalized, where everybody is knowing what he's doing, the roles are distributed properly, the tasks are clear, so you can have the full efficiency from your teams, and everybody is clear on what he's doing. This is something that is really needed and will highly like increase the productivity and efficiency, not only on the control like planning and cost, but also in the design and the construction and also the engagement between consultants and the contractors. It's a huge and very complex industry, and this is where we need to simplify the digital workflows and the whole company as well.
Thanks a lot, Abdullah. But let me ask questions for the audience here. Do you know literally what's mean by digital workflow? Or I know it's a silly question, but can you raise your hand? Okay, good. So let's redefine the digital workflow now with Amr. It's not about a single, let's say, a process or a single software or a platform in which you are embedding your digital workflow. It's a kind of a connection between different solutions and different platforms. So, how can we do so within our, let's say, entities and within our many platforms that you are using on a daily basis?
Okay, so let's remove the word digital first, okay?
Yeah, of course.
So what is a workflow or what's the process? Like basically it's all about human and human interaction. So you should bring all your stakeholders or your team player and literally everyone into the same discussion and capture the ideas and the steps that they are doing to do their daily tasks. Okay, map it out, map everything out. Okay, and then from mapping it out, you will see redundancies, you will see duplications, and this is your first iteration of optimization. And then you start rolling the first iteration and get the feedback from the team. Can we do it better? Is there any better ways of engaging with different stakeholders? And then once you map out the workflow, and the workflow should be an end-to-end, okay? Should capture the different players' contributions and then bring the technology in. So how the technology can like remove the expanded workflows. So if you map out a workflow, you might need a wall like this to see it, the entire workflow. But then if you ask a human, I want you to go through this workflow, it will seem impossible. Okay. But then this is where the digital workflows comes in, where you see different technology tool sets, maybe supported by AI, maybe AI agents that can crush the number of steps that people need to go through to execute a certain task. And this is where, again, you cannot use the technology from the beginning, because if it doesn't have the right data, the right process, or the right workflow for a certain business, it won't work. It might give you some fancy explanations, but it doesn't work for your company or doesn't work for your organization. You need to start with human first, map out all the different parties, and then bring the technology to optimize this workflows.
Great. Thanks a lot, Amr, for what you mentioned right now. And going to Yazan, since you are working in the executive level right now, so there is a quote that all of us are saying that if it's working, don't touch it, right? So are you leaving the change, or let's say, are you waiting for the change, or how you are dealing with digitalization and AI and machine learning, a lot of these hypes that we are hearing right now?
Okay. Interesting question. Super interesting question. So this is everyday challenge. You know why? Because we believe that we are right always. So do you think that getting to the CFO office, telling him that, man, like maybe we can do it better is an easy job? It is a disaster. Like you're telling him maybe you're an idiot, but it's not the case. Now, all of us are hearing about AI. AI, what can AI do to us, And then, you know how many companies, come to our offices every day telling us we can bring you more leads through the AI? Unbelievable. Because, they're going to put these agents and they're going to work for us. And yeah, but the question is, okay, if you create to me leads, how many of these leads can be a deal? Nobody can answer. So it's two sides of the things. We have the digitalization, which is very important, and we have another people to convince to go over there. So first of all, to convince people, you need to tell him, okay, man, like, can you just tell me how you do this? So why I will go to our CFO and ask him this question? Because the payments to be from an invoice to be paid is taking 45 days, which is delaying all the things all around. So I have discovered the problem. But if I go and I told him, he will give me 100 excuses why it cannot be. And if I tell him that I can make it better, he will just refuse supporting me. But if I go and talk to this guy, telling him, man, like, okay, let's see how it is working and how we can reduce the load on you guys. And from there you can go. We map out exactly how you said, we put it on our papers, and then we move these papers to digitalization, and over there we see how we can, because it is a process, it is not a click. We get better every day, we improve. One thing that we have seen, super important, the longer these workflow are, the more steps you have, the worse it will be. It is something like, and I always tell my guys, if you have 10 steps, each step will be 99% accurate. Multiply 99 by 99 by 99, you end up with what? 70% accuracy, example. So yes, we can reduce it, but again, this is a scale. You cannot say, okay, so let's make everything one step. Okay, so this is the two curves that we need always to work on to make sure that we're getting to the right solution for the company.
Thanks a lot. So I believe, Millie, it's coming from a top-down perspective, not from bottom-up.
100%.
Because when it comes from bottom-up, it always fails. Believe me.
Yeah.
You're right.
I think I have a different perspective.
As usual.
Yeah. It needs to be both, actually. So when you look at the industry, like the people who are doing the work are actually the bottom. And these are the man on ground or man and women on ground who actually do the sales or speak to customers. So you need to have support from the top. It's a clear message communicated, but also you need to have this experience transferred to the bottom, so they can do it. You get their buy-in into your processes. So when they do very basic steps, they understand the why behind it. They are not just following the process. They understand that they understand the meaning of what they are doing rather than just following it blindly. And this is where, again, like you can use technology to remove any unnecessary tasks, but then spend more time with your bottom or like with people to educate them, train them, and bring them up to the level where they can actually make decisions independently, and they understand the reasons behind the workflows and the reason behind the processes. And if they see something wrong in the real world, they will flag it and say, I understand if I follow the process, it will be, I will be safe, but it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And I need to speak up.
So Abdullah, since you are working with data and I don't know, but I'm seeing always project controls the most traditional, not because they are traditional, but for the way of work that they are doing, right? So when the digital workflows, let's say, joined your area of expertise as let's say solutions like Unifier or Aconix or whatever you are working with it right now, did it, let's say, avoid the old mistakes that you were doing or your supply chain were doing? Or
Look, as my colleague said, the human part is always a main factor in whatever systems that you are using. So regardless what kind of software you are using, what kind of technology, if your employees, if your people, if your teams, that they don't trust the process, they don't buy in with whatever the business is having, then it would be really hard to succeed with this kind of processes and models. So there are two things I would say that is really important for any companies that they are looking to build this kind of workflows or processes and procedures. One of the things is of course, the technology, what kind of technology that they're going to use and what kind of and softwares that fit for the companies. In addition, it needs to engage the change management methodology, which is mainly focusing on how the human is accepting these changes, how the employees are accepting these new processes and the new targeting model and the new ways of working. With that, you need to have a proper kind of change management plan, which must include actually the training as well, so people understand what they are mandated to do, what they have to do, what kind of things that need to be used, what kind of template that they have to use, with a clear objective for the process. So that's mainly, it's coming back to our first question on what is the workflows, what is the digital workflows. Defining the digital workflows, it's really delivering or like focusing on what is the deliverables, what are the outcomes that will come from these processes.
Thanks a lot, Abdullah. So let me quote this one. And in Egypt, we have street sellers in which they are coming and unfold the rack in front of you. There are a lot of watches, cups, whatever you can say, and they need to sell you everything. So Juan, what you're doing when you are approaching the client? How can you prioritize your initiatives and your digital innovations with them? Are you unfold your rack?
Thank you, Ahmed. So, of course, we do have certain expertise that we need to, in a way, expose of what are we able to support. But in that sense, as I explained earlier, it's important for us when we meet with people to understand what is their business and what are their needs. So something that, referring specifically to the topic of the panel, we need to see that there is a lot of technology adoptions, especially since 2020, since the pandemic started, and these workflows are digitized. The question here is also, how do you connect all these different digital workflows, which are disconnected, and you have to create an environment where you will find that these digital workflows are now connected and creating an environment that will enable a best decision making based on the data that you will be collecting. So first of all, it is to have an understanding on what could be the business priorities, their business needs, and based on gathering information from the business, we can understand what could be the priorities and how can we align our expertise to those needs.
Thanks, Rotban. Very insightful. So again, to prioritize your work is not meaning that you will take every digital workflow that you need and then implement it and leverage it within your business. I believe I have a lot of questions, so let me.
Amr, can I just want to put something over here that really, like, just on my first example about the salespeople and how, what is the something that really make me interesting every day I get from our guys, the salespeople. They came and they say like, okay, man, like we are like 15 on the team now. We're getting better, we're selling better, and like the system's doing a lot. I'm gonna lose my job. I go like, no, you're gonna make more money. This is something super important, like the people, job security. People think that by digitalization, we're losing our job. No, we're getting our job better. That's very important message.
Thanks a lot, Yazan.
Thank you.
So I have one question here. Simplify the workflow or simplification of the workflow will attract more stakeholders. Detailed workflows assist the complex processes to be done. How can we balance between both approaches, which is simplification of the workflows and the detailed workflows that will assist the complex processes? For any one of you, if you need to take.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question actually, which is really putting like the hands on the pain, where in the workflows you need to engage as much as stakeholder, so you can remove any silos, remove any duplications, remove any of the repeated works. In addition, in the same time, you need to minimize the errors, because as Yazan says, for example, if you have 99.999% in one of the steps, and that cumulatively, if you have a number of steps, that will end up with less accuracy. So it is very critical a question, I would say. However, I would say in the operating model, And this is why the new ways of working in the business and the construction industry and companies, the new target operating model, this is something that where it's merge and make this kind of complex integrations between the tasks, the people, where it's really connecting. So you make your workflows and processes the main tool between connecting people with the technology, with the tasks, so that will be really a clear kind of pathways where everybody is clear on what to do exactly.
I have an advice on this, Samir, just on this one, the same one that you have talked. But just like in any workflow, I think things need to start. Somebody will prepare. This is 100%. Somebody after that will, let's say, approve. Somebody will make sure that it's compliance. Somebody will authorize. Now, these somebodies can be 10, can be 5, can be 3. But this will always be the structure of anyone. How big or how small? I think it depends on the decision that we're going to make. How big or how small this decision will impact the business. This is how it can be maybe balanced.
Thanks a lot. I believe there is another question, but already we talked it about the prioritization for the digital workflows. The question was for Juan. I believe we ended on the time. So if you have any, let's say, questions or any queries that you need to ask the team, they will be very happy to answer it, but below the stage. So thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Miss